Hello and welcome to another episode of Guess the Guest. In last episode, we played on Xenos, and the mystery guest had a really good advantage from early on in the game with some excellent rate and micro. And then with that advantage, kind of just played a standard game from there. The blue player, which we assume is Rhinus, did get back into it a little bit with some clutch catapult drops, but they were not enough, and eventually the red player triumphed. My guess was that it was Hero of Ages, and we'll see if I'm correct. No, I was not. It was actually El Barto. So yeah, I guess El Bardo does make sense. El Bardo, if it was a very well game for sure, defeating Rhinus is no small task, and I guess not part of the community recently for sure, so it would have been hard for me to guess. So I'm not too miffed about getting that wrong, but well played and excellent game from you. Let's go into today's replay. Alright, today's replay is going to be a game on Ravage versus Weird Rat. So we'll see. Weird Rat is obviously a very strong player, not going to be easy to defeat. And our player is going to be spawning in the top left as a red. So we'll see how it goes, playing on Ravaged. Now, of course, Weird Rat is a very strong player. If this guest is able to put up a fight, which I assume they will because they submitted this replay, obviously they're going to be a top tier player as well. Yeah, let's see who it is. So standard builds out of both players so far. House. No, okay, I already know who it is. So this house placement, only one person does it, and it is DESTROYcall. The reason for this house placement is that you don't get house blocked or tower rushed or something crazy like that in the early game. So if you put your house over here, like most people do, I do this as well, there is potential for a house to get over here, be placed, and that's just really annoying to deal with. You can also put a tower here, stuff like that. So this is a minor optimization that DESTROYcall has been doing. It's useful one in every, I don't know, 20 games when someone does something wacky, but it really doesn't cost much to do, so definitely something that anyone can do. For those of you who do get annoyed by something like a house rush, it's going to be a 2-den, which is something I did not expect. DESTROYcall, I don't really see him playing 2-den as much. But yeah, back to the house block thing. It's the only way you can block this is if you go all the way to the top and drop like a workshop or something over here. But that costs too much, and yeah, so something like this is definitely an optimization. It's not 100% required if you're able to react in time, but yeah, I'm fine with it. I know that DESTROYcall is pretty much the only, not pretty much, is definitely the only player who does this, to my knowledge. So, anyways, it's going to be a 2-den versus, looks like a standard Rax, Raider expand, 2 Raider expand, something like that. I'd expect Weird Rat to defend this pretty easily and have an advantage from the early game. Not guaranteed, but definitely expected. Now there is the potential that Weird Rat is not gonna go for the second raider, and instead gonna go for a quick castle. So this is slightly more risky for sure. It's gonna be slightly harder to defend, but I still think it is possible. And then Weird Rat is gonna get confirmation that it is a 2-den just about now. There we go. So what is his response? He's gonna cancel. I don't think canceling the castle is the right play here. I think instead you just pull workers. Like you would, yeah, I would pull like 5-ish, 4-ish workers without canceling it, and then just go for maybe a tower. A tower is pretty greedy. Actually, no. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. The tower is pretty safe, but going for a cancel into a tower, I think, is not ideal. You're just gonna be so far behind. Once DESTROYcall, who I think it is, sees this, DESTROYcall can just stop producing wolves and expand behind it and be completely fine. And as I say that, no more wolves, gonna stop at before 30, so yeah, makes sense. Pretty good. So this is basically, I think, Weird Red just overreacting. I think Weird Red is thinking, hey, I'm better than 90%, 95% of players in Littlewargame, and therefore, as long as I survive, I'm gonna be fine. Good target fire on that specific wolf. Good target fire on that specific wolf as well. Weird Red showing his top tier micro over there, targeting down some of the wolves for free. I think Weird Red should definitely go on the offensive by now. You should have known that there were no additional wolves being produced, and use that as an opportunity to just go ahead and be aggressive. Yeah, so once you see the amount of wolves, you should just be going across the map, I think, as a Weird Red. Instead, is going to opt to play very safe. I think that's just definitely the mindset of, hey, I'm better than most people, and therefore if I stay safe, I should be fine. I'm going to win a longer game. I think that's basically the mindset. But yeah, we have a Snake Charmer on the way for our guest. This, I think it's okay. It definitely helps with the early Raider defense. Yeah, I guess since you weren't producing wolves continually during this time, going for snakes is alright. Yeah, okay, I don't hate it. I generally prefer to not go for snakes on two bases. I would take a third first, but I don't hate it, honestly. It's fine. I would like to see a bit more better army movement out of both players. Weird has been playing extremely defensive with these raiders, and DESTROYcall, or at least who I think is DESTROYcall, has also been playing very passive with the wolves. Like ideally, you put a wolf here, you put a wolf like the rest of your wolves over here, just to catch any move outs and stuff like that. That was a bit of an unnecessary blink, or unnecessary flash. You didn't need to flash there. He wasn't fully surrounded. He could just walk back, I think. But okay, so what's the follow-up here? We have a second Rex and an advanced workshop. That's going to be interesting. Advanced workshop, does he believe that there are dragons on the way? I think once he sees these snakes, I think I definitely saw the snakes. You would know that it's unlikely to be dragons. That's a flash in to try to, I think, snipe some of these wolves, or snipe the snake or something. That's definitely a mistake, losing that. Good attempt, but did not work out. And Weird Rat is forced to retreat because only 3 raiders, and that's a big wolf snake army. Alright, so it is going to be an airship, so I'm expecting to see, I guess, a raider drop. 4 raiders. If he had kept the first one alive, then it would have been a 5 raider drop, but instead it's going to put a worker in there. So I guess this is going to try to block the natural ramp and do a whole bunch of damage, but this guest, being very smart, knowing that that is a potential possibility, has left this house over here. And that's just going to prevent the workshop being blocked, or doing the blocking of the natural. So well played. Weird Rat is gonna, okay, say no to that plan, and just gonna go with 4 raiders. At the same time, it looks like the guest has taken the 3rd base, and this, once again, this is also a good indication, a strong indication that this is DESTROYcall. Most players would take their base right over here, but DESTROYcall is one of the people who likes to get this sort of like small optimized potentials, you know, potential wins in the lower game. This is one of those things where it's a little bit more safer. It's not quite as open, and you can block this off a little bit easier. At the same time, we have this 4 raider drop going into the main base of our guest. Gonna pick off, looks like 2-3 wolves, and also gonna turn the attention to the mineral line. No, as I say that, going back to the wolves. Gonna pick up, and looks like gonna drop on the snakes. That's an excellent tactic. Well done. Raiders 2-shot snakes, of course, and you can just continuously stay on top of this. The snakes are not going to do enough damage to actually really threaten this airship that much, and therefore you can just snipe all these snakes as much as you'd like. There you go, some very nice. That's a lot of snakes, though. I feel like Weird Rat should just leave. Looks like the guest is transitioning into werewolves and also +1 attack. Attack makes sense for the snakes, but doesn't quite make sense for the werewolves as much. You would generally prefer to get, what's it called? Armor upgrades. So these raiders did a significant amount of damage and escaped with their lives. So that's excellent play, excellent micro out of Weird Rat. Weird Rat at the same time is going to take a third base, but this is significantly later than his opponents. And looks like a forge is on the way as well. The guest is going to get confirmation that this is going up, and we'll see the timing, so definitely knows that he is ahead economically. Cool. And I guess these towers, they're a little bit unnecessary. Maybe they saw this coming out. Also, from the late castle, you can kind of assume that more money was invested into army. So I guess that makes sense. Tower at the third, at the natural, not one at the main just yet. But anyways, Weird Rat probably did see this with the drop, yeah. So did see the werewolves in with the drop, which means that he probably knows that the werewolves should be out in the near future. Gonna probably try to do maybe some sort of timing before there's a critical amount, or maybe not. We'll see. We have a bit of a wolf snake attack, but there's also a raider drops that's still happening. So without any like airship ballista or dragons, there's not really anything that can really contest this airship. Yes, you have snakes that do a little bit of damage, but that's not exactly ideal for sure. We're trying to do as much damage as you can with the raiders. But yeah, he's gonna see the werewolf. The werewolf is gonna smash, and Weird Rat is gonna be forced to pick up and head into the main. But the tower is just finished, so that airship's gonna take a lot of damage if he doesn't react in time. Gonna pick up that one, and is he gonna be able to escape? Barely. Oh, this is a very nice tactic. Weird Rat showing this airship into the main. That's gonna draw the entire army away, and therefore Weird Rat was able to kill a tower for free. So good army movement out of Weird Rat. But yeah, Weird Rat doesn't really have anything against the werewolves. Definitely saw the second werewolf den as well, so double werewolf production means that a simple archer soldier army is not going to cut it most of the time. Unless you have stellar micro, which Weird Rat does, but also, even then, it's going to be really tough a lot of the times. I would like to see, instead of this third Rax, maybe some other sort of tech. Maybe, probably, if it were me, I would go for a workshop for both the caltrops from the Gatling guns or catapults, anything that can really deal with the werewolf. But instead, it's going to go for a third barracks, which is not ideal in my opinion. Weird Rat also tried to go for a fourth base, so that's kind of greedy. Is gonna be forced to give it up, it seems like. However, there's this handful of snakes is distracted, so therefore this might be a really good fight for Weird Rat. Ideally, you want to target down the werewolves with your snakes, or you can target down the snakes as well. Sorry, werewolf with your archers. I think I said werewolf with your snakes. That smash gets 3 units. That's a fair amount. That's a wasted smash. That's a mistake for sure. That smash wasn't the greatest either. So this is actually a pretty good fight for Weird Rat. Ideally, you want to pick that werewolf off as well. And it's going to be able to. So well done out of Weird Rat. That's a pretty good fight. +1 attack on the way. +1 armor on the way. Actually, to make that +2, excuse me. And Weird Rat is going to try to take a 4th base once again. Weird Rat knows that his opponent is on 4 bases, or at least is very likely to be on 4 bases. Saving for the potential of the bases in the middle. Something that DESTROYcall is known to do is just take a middle base when you know that your opponent has eyes on both sides. But anyways, here's a big fight over here. This soldier gonna try to distract that to prevent the 4th base of DESTROYcall from being brought up. These werewolves have gotten a few smashes, but mostly on soldiers, so that's not too bad. That's a pretty good smash, but good job on DESTROYcall just spreading damage. If you spread out your damage on all of these werewolves, then they can regenerate health later in the future. So essentially it's free damage if you keep them alive and they regenerate. As the Rax player, you definitely want to try to target down individual werewolves. gonna take one off, but if all the damage was targeted, then that would have been probably 2 werewolves, maybe even 3 werewolves going down. But yeah, the werewolves are gonna rotate to the 4th base over here. Looks like one of them is gonna be targeted down. Well done. Second one also is gonna be targeted down. Good pick off. Okay, not bad, not bad. You're gonna pick off a handful of work. I would like to see some sort of transition though out of Weird Rat. We have a werewolf over here, but that's not gonna be doing too much because of the good walling over here. This airship is providing a lot of vision as well, so that is very nice as well. So yeah, I would like to see some tech out of Weird Rats. You know, something, anything at all pretty much. These werewolves are gonna come in, try to get a smash on the worker line, but Weird Rat seemingly sees that. It's gonna pull half of his workers around. Not quite sure why he didn't pull all of them. I feel like that's a bit of a mistake. These werewolves are going to try to target down the watchtower and will be able to get it. But is going to lose both werewolves for that. So I don't think actually that's too good. That's actually a bit of a waste in my opinion. But yeah, constant werewolf production, more werewolf dens on the way, and more armor just to be super tanky against these archers and soldiers. Yeah, with natural base 4 armor and even more on the way from the upgrades, this is going to be really tough for Weird Rats. That's a good fight over here, taking picking off 2 of those. I can't talk right now. Werewolves, essentially for free. However, these 2 werewolves over here got a lot of value. And these 2 also did as well. That's a ton of workers that just went down. We're at down to 27. That is not a significantly large enough number in my opinion. You want to have more. Good trapping on that werewolf over here, and it's probably going to try to trap the ones over here as well. I would like to see some workers being transferred over to the 4th base, and as I say that, that is indeed what's going to happen. One thing I do want to criticize is that Weird Rat did not get a full wall over here. So instead of putting these 2, I guess this was already in the early game, but maybe these 2 racks, you could have put them over here. Oh, and those are some excellent smashes. That's a lot, that's a ton of damage. That is devastating damage onto this Rax army. And there's another werewolf coming in from the top side as well. But yeah, as I was saying, probably could have had a better SimCity over here, forcing the werewolves to go all the way around. GG is called, and our mystery guest, who is basically DC, and it can't be anyone else, has defeated Weird Rat. Cool. Well played. Yeah, there's not much to say. I knew it was DESTROYcall basically from the first building that they placed. So yeah, the chances of it not being DESTROYcall, maybe 0.001%, something like that. Yeah, so my guess is DESTROYcall. I don't know who else it could be, and I'm really confident with my guess. Yeah. If you have a replay you'd like to submit, please do so in the link below, and I'll see you next time.